Hello, and welcome to Your Sparkly Brand. We're here to inspire and empower entrepreneurs just like you. This podcast is all about delivering no fluff, high value content that helps you to grow your business. It doesn't matter if you have no budget and you're still DIYing everything on your own. We're giving you the tips, tools, and strategies that you need to build a sparkly empire. I'm Megan Gersh, your resident brand designer and web designer, and I'm here with my co-host, the copywriter extraordinaire, Lauren Tassi. Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Hi, Megan. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Well, we were just talking before we started recording about our sparkly moment, and we decided we have a shared sparkly moment. The day we're recording this, yesterday, Spotify released their wrapped thing for the year, which I love from a marketing perspective also. I think it's so good the way they tap into identity. But you this morning texted me, I guess, information on our podcast, and I had no idea. We just kind of do this thing. I don't even look at the analytics that often. We just keep doing it. But we some of those numbers are amazing, and it just feels so good and sparkly. Do you want to share some more about that?
Yes. And I actually want to read it from my phone so that I don't get them incorrect. So some of these stats are really incredible. So we have created 864 minutes of new content, which is crazy. And it says that is 89% more than all of the other business podcasts that are on Spotify. So that in itself is mind blowing to me. We have been listened to in 26 countries, which what? How?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. Our podcast was in the top 15% most shared globally, which that's insane also. We're in the top 15% most followed podcast. We also had a lot of new gains this year, lots of new followers, lots of new listeners. So thank you so much if you're listening to this. We truly, truly have so much gratitude for you. We're in the top 10 podcasts for 82 people, which to me, I was
wow, I know.
What? And apparently we're the number one podcast to 16 people, which even that to me is what is happening?
I'm surprised it's more than two people, being you and me.
Exactly. It's just wild to think about.
Yeah. So good job, you.
Good job, you.
Congratulations. Yeah. So we're pretty excited about that. We want to say thank you to all our listeners. This is our last new episode for the year. Obviously, based on the topic, it's a good one to wrap up the year with. So thank you for a great year, for listening, for, all that stuff. So let's talk about our topic for today. We're going to cover why you should set goals in your business and then the best way to do that. And that encompasses the SMART goal setting technique, which we'll totally break down and get into that. But we just wanted this just seems like the best time of year to do it, sort of before the holidays or after the holidays. If you have some downtime, really take an hour or two, sit down with a notebook and kind of vision for your business for the next year. Goal setting is so important to running a successful business because goals give you a clear focus and they help you set actual tangible targets. Setting business goals is also a way to monitor the progress and performance of your business and to keep yourself and your team accountable. Goals help you create a clear path for your business and get you headed in the right direction. The beginning of the new year is a great time to pause for reflection, to celebrate the high points of the past year and make peace with the low points. It's also a great time to plan for the next year.
Yeah. And so let's talk a bit about what a SMART goal is. You might have heard this acronym before, but it essentially stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So this is how you're going to plan a specific target or result that you want to achieve in your business. And then you're going to commit to that goal, right? So we wanted to dig into that acronym a little bit and kind of explore what each of those letters within that acronym means. So for S, obviously, this is talking about getting specific with your goals. So you want to make sure that you have clearly defined your objectives. You want to narrow down the options for how you're going to get there. You want to just get really, really specific with so instead of saying I want to promote my business, you want to say something I want to run Facebook ads for X amount of time. And this is what I'm hoping to get out of it. And so this kind of specificity helps you to determine the path between where you are right now and where you want to go. The next letter is M for measurable. So you want to make sure that you can actually measure your results and that you are tracking your progress along the way. And so this really helps you to be able to recognize those wins once you have them, right? So this helps you, once you reach different milestones in your journey, you got to celebrate those things, right? So you got to celebrate, okay, I spent $10 on Facebook ads this month and I got X number of leads. Obviously that's not realistic, but you get what I'm saying. You can see if you did XYZ, then you get X results. So you need to make sure that those goals are measurable and that also you have a system in place so that you can track them.
Yes. So let's move on to the other letters. Next one is attainable. And this is, I guess this is a difference between like goals and dreams, right? Like a goal is something attainable. It's something you can see the steps ahead of you and be able to get to, where a dream is a little more, I want to be a millionaire. You can still have dreams, but goals can actually get you to your dreams. So attainable helps you maintain momentum too, because you can see your progress and you can feel yourself getting there. You're able to aim for the familiar satisfaction of hitting your target rather than dreading another seemingly big miss, like a New Year's resolution. Oh my God, that's like the worst word ever. That's why we're all about goals around here and not, have dreams, but not resolutions or anything sort of less focused than that. If it's not attainable, also you're going to get frustrated. And when you're frustrated, you're more likely to just give up and go take a nap. So the next one is relevant, and your goals should align with your values and objectives, right? So like just being busy, or like if your goal is to run Facebook ads, but you don't actually like need leads or don't think your audience is on Facebook, then that's not a relevant goal. Busyness does not equal productivity, and relevant helps you move in the right direction and towards your big time goals. That way you're able to focus on activities that actually push you to where you want to be. And then the last one is time bound. And this I think is one of the most important ones. I think specific and time bound are really the keys to setting great goals. And it's like putting a deadline on it, putting a clock on it, because that again helps you keep a container and it helps you work towards something, this month or whatever. And so then, if you don't hit it this month, you're moving on. You're not spending the rest of your life trying to run Facebook ads or whatever your goal is. And it helps you prioritize tasks and it helps you track your progress based on time.
Yeah. You know what? The interesting thing about the time element too is that I find that it like kind of motivates you. Like it puts you in that like kind of crunch mode where it's like, okay, I only have like a month to get this done, or I only have 3 months to get this done. Like it's kind of like a kick in the butt to like, just like, let's get shit done.
Yeah. It's part of the like difference between a goal and a dream.
Totally. Okay. So now we know the definition of SMART goals. So how actually do we put this into motion, right? So we need to get really specific with what you actually want to accomplish. So maybe that's losing 20 pounds, or you want to scale your business to 6 figures, or you want to, like getting specific with like what it is that you actually want. And then taking a look at what resources you have, taking a look at what money resources you have, time resources, and see how you can allocate those different resources in order to achieve that goal. And like, again, kind of going back to like getting specific with like what that number is, or like how long that's going to take you, or how many things you want to get or achieve is going to be super, super key to locking in this goal and to actually meeting the goal. I would also say like taking a look at like how that goal plays into the bigger picture is so important. Also, just making sure that like you're not just setting goals just for the sake of setting goals. Sometimes goals have to be set up in chunks, right? So it's like, once I achieve this goal, then I'll be able to move on to the next one. Or like there will be several goals that will feed into each other that are kind of part of the bigger picture. And so it sometimes can be helpful to kind of zoom out and make sure that the goals that you're setting are relevant and that you're not just trying to like check a box, or that you're trying to achieve something just because somebody on the internet said that you need to achieve it, right? Like that's the other important thing too, is that like success is only how you dictate it to be. So like essentially like my ideas of success might not be the same as yours, right? Like, and vice versa. We just have different goals. And so also just making sure that again, like that goal is set inside that time bound container where you can have different milestones and like really take the bigger goal and then deconstruct it in a way that breaks it down into smaller tasks to get done over time. So essentially, by the end of this week, you hope to have tasks 1, 2, and 3 done out of that bigger goal, and so on and so forth. And like really deconstructing it in that way will just make it so much easier to reach those goals.
I love what you said about like your goals have to be specific to you, right? Because like it's easy, especially like this time of year, like every podcast is going to have an episode about goal setting, right? New Year's goal setting, all that kind of that stuff. And it's easy to get kind of caught up in like, oh, well, my goal should be 10,000 new followers this year, or I should grow my email list by this much, or I should have this much in revenue. And you kind of have to stop and go, it comes back to like looking at your values and what your North Star is for your business. Like what actually matters? Like, do 10,000 followers matter to my business? Not at all. That's not really what I do or where I show up. I think it's, so make sure you're not getting swept up in like what other people are doing and what you see other businesses going through.
Yeah. One other thing I would say with that too is like figuring out like what really matters as far as like what's moving the needle. It's not followers moving the needle. It's, how many booked calls you have in your calendar each week. It's like how many meetings you're having with people, how many times you're going out to networking events and like actually meeting people face to face. Like those are the things that are actually going to move the needle forward. forward, not just like a random follower on social media.
Yeah, it's true. I would say like followers might not even be a great goal, period. That might be a good thing to reconsider. All right. So now let's talk about specific business goals, because the whole process we just outlined works for like any part of your life, anything you want to do. When it comes to business, you need to get specific, right? You might find yourself struggling with figuring out what business goals to set, and that's okay. You want to think about your goals for your business in terms of what can push your business forward within the next year. Basically, exactly what Meg said about moving the needle. Don't just focus on the big picture. Think also about the little things you want to achieve.
I think going along with that too, you can set different goals in like each part of your life too. Like it doesn't have to be just for business, but maybe you want to hit a fitness goal, or you want to bring some more fun back into your life and like make it a point to like, take yourself on self-care dates, twice a month or something like that. Like that's a great goal to have, like to get that balance back into your life as a business owner. But again, I just want to kind of harp on like how important it is, like how if you're setting goals, like you need to get specific with what that is. You can even try like visualizing like how your life is going to be like once you attain that goal. Visualization can be so powerful when you're actually trying to, achieve something. And even like getting down to the details when you're doing that, those visualizations about like how you're going to feel, what are you wearing, what are you drinking, like what does your day look like when you wake up, like what's that morning routine look like, or how are you feeling at the end of each day, like how are you spending your time. Also creating a roadmap where you can see those results at each milestone is going to be helpful. And then the other piece of this too is just really committing to your goals. You know yourself better than anyone else, and so like don't second guess yourself, don't give up on them halfway through the process. It can help to have support in place also to kind of check in with someone as an accountability partner or from a coach. That can also be helpful. These are just different ways that you can help yourself stay motivated throughout that process.
Another important thing is to regularly track your progress. One, to make sure you're on the right track, to see if there's something if you need to change course all of a sudden. It also like can be proof that it's working too. Say it's a financial goal, right? You probably have some sort of bookkeeping system, some sort of way that you're able to see the money coming in. And just, for myself, it's more of a bookkeeping thing than like goal setting thing, but I hop in every month and I do all my expenses and I see how we're doing. And it's like, oh, hey, we're doing good, So just keeping an eye on that stuff and like regularly checking in and course correcting if need be. And then setting deadlines, right? We've talked about this a few times now. Just putting it on the calendar, putting, a check-in, that kind of thing, just to hold yourself accountable and kind of not lose your way when it comes to working towards your goals. And then also like celebrating the milestones. When you hit a goal, when you hit the first part of a goal, like celebrate, take yourself out to dinner, post on social media, do whatever it is that kind of like makes you go, yes, we did it. Kind of how we celebrated like our podcast doing so well at the beginning of the episode, just because when you celebrate, you have the energy to attract more of that into your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I would add one more thing here too. And like something that's really helped me is in my CEO dates, this is like a great time to kind of like check in with where I am with my goals. And like, that's like my dedicated time each week to take a look at like my revenue, my different, marketing strategies that I'm putting out there to see like what's working, what's not, and kind of like adjust from there. But yeah, we have a whole episode on CEO dates. If you want to go back and check that one out, highly recommend it.
And that's it for our episode on SMART goals and goal setting for the new year. All goals are important, no matter how big or small. Achieving small goals can help you work toward bigger goals. It's not too early or too late to start brainstorming what you want your business to achieve this year. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, stay sparkly.